Hello YouTube, welcome to another instant analysis video. We got word of the next party card that's going to be releasing here in about 4 hours local time. This video won't be out on YouTube by then, but if you are subscribed to the channel, you already saw my post giving thoughts about this card. So Party Kotori, right, is the card. But first, let's quickly have the SR, Nijo Heart who went full Gyaru and got a tan. Cool attribute, guard type, stamina healer. I mean, it's okay, right? Like, the one good thing about this card is that tap active matches with her kit, right? Her highest stat is her stamina, and she heals off of her stamina, and she has a stamina buffing passive. That's great, okay? So, as an SR, this card is basically all you can ask for. Until you get down to the AC. Which is the first type of LSA. I said AC earlier. LSA. This is the first LSA that we've had that has these conditions in a while. And the LSA is restore 10% of your stamina. Well, of this eye's stamina. Let me be more clear. Restore 10% of this eye's stamina every time you fail an appeal chance. Now, we do have cards that give you some sort of buff upon AC failure. One of the most notable cards that I can recall is Snow Halation Ellie. But even Snow Halation Ellie, right? Snow Halation Ellie wasn't a card that it guaranteed you a skill activation boost for the next 5 notes or 10 notes or 15 notes or whatever upon AC failure. There was still a percentage chance to it. This eye is guaranteed every time you fail an AC. This card will restore 10% of her stamina to the total stamina pool. Which, bad part about that is it's an SR. It's not going to have a very, very large stamina pool. Right? It caps out at a little under 8,000. That's only an 800 stamina heal. It's not good. So, basically, everything of the card is good except for the LSA. And even so, however, it is an SR, so you do have to take it with a grain of salt. This card is basically good for Oshis like myself, right? If you're just an Oshi and you need to collect all the I cards, here's another one you gotta get. But other than that, not really looking for it. The UR, however, is a completely different story. Kotori, an active attribute SP type card. Baseline stats of 12,729 base appeal, 5,875 base stamina, and 14,035 base technique. All of these stats at max limit break. The tap active. SP gauge fill. SP gauge fill. Gain 9% of max SP as an SP gauge. And luckily, right, I did check this. When the card came out, we are back to this is regular tap active activation rate of 33%. Okay? This is what makes the combination of the tap active and her passive makes this card basically a must own. This passive ability is exactly the same as Party Shioriko. Okay? Base appeal increase of 8.4%, base technique increase of 4.2% of all cards in the same strategy. The best passive in the game, bar none. This is why Party Shioriko, as of right now, up until 4 hours from now, is the kind of standard bearer for guest cards. I mean, the second part of it is also her LSA, but, right, one half of the combination of a guest card is the passive skill. The other half is the LSA. Kotori has arguably the best passive in the game. So this puts her right alongside Party Shioriko as a card that people are going to grab and immediately try to snap 4 appeal plus medium same strategy insights on her. Because, right, with her passive affecting same strategy cards, more often than not, you're going to want to follow suit, right? All of the cards that have same strategy passives, a lot of the times you want to follow suit and get those insights on that particular card. Examples, right? First Fest Setsuna, First Fest Kanan, Second Fest Maru, right? Cards that have that same kind of passive, you're going to want. You're going to want the insight skills that give you appeal plus medium same strategy. The only time you ever really deviate from that is if you have a card that, say, has an appeal plus all passive and sets up more like a backliner card, then you're going to want medium groups on those and basically every other card that doesn't have a same strategy passive. Then her LSA, which increases the skill activation percentage by 15% for the next 5 notes. And this is guaranteed every time you use your SP gauge. And this is where this card becomes a little bit bonkers, right? When you pair this particular card with a Wedding Dress Eye, with a Second Fest Rico, right? You get all of those 3 cards and you put them together, and you have a full SP gauge fill scoring strategy, right? And you're able to cycle through gauges at a very, very rapid clip. And let's say, for instance, right? Let me just pull up kind of a little more random song. But something that still has like a decent amount of notes where you can kind of fiddle around with this. And so let's just take Strawberry Trapper, for instance, right? Strawberry Trapper, 169 notes with 5 appeal chances. All the appeal chances, however, don't affect skill activation rate. They're just base appeal increases. For this particular LSA, right? If we assume that we're using a gauge right before every appeal chance in Strawberry Trapper, right? At the bare minimum, we're getting a gauge basically, you know, right before we head into every AC. That's, you know, I would say on the high end, something like Strawberry Trapper, you're looking at maybe 14, 16 gauges tops. And in a song like that, when you're running cycling, right? If we say we get, let's say we go on the high end, we get super lucky, right? We get 16 gauges, and we've with Party Kotori, Wedding Dress I, and Second Fest Rico, we can consistently get 16 gauges per play of Strawberry Trapper. Well, if we're taking 16 gauges and we are guaranteed to get an increase of 15% for skill activation, that equates out to 80 notes of an increased skill activation of 15%. 80 notes is 48% of Strawberry Trapper. So now you're basically pushing your abilities to cycle gauges a lot further. And if you're running Wedding Dress I, Party Kotori, and Second Fest Rico in your Center 3, you're going to be capping at 250 anyway. So, you know, if you're able to cheat out 2 extra gauges because of the skill activation buff, you're looking at an extra 500,000 on top of your score. This kind of thing is bonkers. Now, here's where kind of a big difference is going to come in between when do I use Party Kotori as a guest and when do I use something like Party Shioriko as a guest. To me, you want to use Party Kotori as a guest, right? If you have friends on your friends list that put in Party Kotori as a guest, and if you happen to know them IRL, know them through Discord, and you know they pull the Party Kotori, and you know that they're pulling for medium same strategy insights, here's where you're going to want to differentiate between using Kotori and using Party Shioriko. Party Kotori, you should be pretty exclusively using for cards, for songs that have short appeal chances, and you are running a cycling strategy. Right? That's where she works best. Songs with short appeal chances, you're going to want to use short appeal chances and your SP cycling. The reason why I say short appeal chances is, remember, Party Shioriko has a 15% gauge gain rate up during the entirety of all appeal chances. So if you have longer appeal chances, that's where Party Shioriko really shines. And that's why she's really good if you're doing voltage rankings on Advanced Plus, because, you know, especially for stuff like Sweet Eyes, Snow Halation, you have a couple of really long ACs that are very drawn out. So the ability to get extra gauge gain there is a lot more useful than this kind of short guaranteed, you know, increased skill activation by 15% for 5 notes every time you use your SP gauge. So remember, Party Shioriko you want to use on like Advanced Plus, longer ACs. Kotori you'll probably want to use in you'll still use it in Advanced Plus, but she tends to work a lot better because of her LSA, you know, in songs with shorter appeal chances. So if we were to look at a song like Zensoku Dreamer, right? Zensoku Dreamer has like one decently long appeal chance in appeal chance number 2 at 31 notes long. The next longest one is the last one at 27 notes. But both of those appeal chances give Nijo cards a 20% SP gauge gain rate up. So you'll still be cycling pretty heavily in those ACs. And I will say, not this is going to be a shock to anyone. You know, a card like this is fantastic on Just Believe. Just saying. But I mean, for Just Believe, you know, it is an all cards lose 50% gauge gain rate, so you're gonna have to run a cleanse anyway. But you know, if you're running a card like this with Fest Rico and Wedding Dress Eye, you'll be totally fine. Alright, and that's gonna be it. So the TLDR, you know, if you're one of the whales that is screaming at the top of their lungs right now because you just can't already, with the amount of meta relevant cards and SP gauge fillers and all that kind of stuff, you're probably one of the people that is wondering whether you should pull this card or not. Most of the voltage whales at the tippy top of the leaderboard that are still active are going to be going after this card. They're going to be going after this card. It's without a doubt they are going after this card. If you're not too interested in the voltage ranking though, you don't need the card. If you are interested in party cards, I would if you're playing on the global server, I would definitely try to wait until maybe 2nd anniversary, where we don't know what's happening on 2nd anniversary yet, but there is a possibility that KLab decides to run in a full, like, you know, party only banner with the, you know, all of the first set of party URs getting like a 3 or 4x increased rate. If that does happen in the future, that kind of banner would be okay to pull on. But you know, if you're not a voltage competitor, you don't see yourself being a voltage competitor, you're not a Koto Oshi, you're not an I Oshi, this is a banner you can skip. So yeah, that's the analysis for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am working on a few videos, so those of you that like my older, more long-form videos, I have a couple of them in the works. Don't worry about it. I am currently working on it. There's a lot of stuff going on in my world right now, so you know, I am working on it, and I promise I will get it out here sometime in the near future. With that, take it easy, be nice to everyone, and I'll see you guys there. Bye, YouTube.